Don't turn me up too loud. We good? Good morning. No. Everybody doing well this morning? All righty. This morning, I had a hard time getting ready for this morning. I don't know why, but I did. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I need it. I want, I think the last time I spoke, I talked about being who God created us to be and living a life. You know, I guess I'm in a place where it's all about the life that I live right now. I don't fear what the future holds. I'm not worried about where I'm going to be when I'm not in this body anymore. I'm not concerned about that. I'm in a place where I know that when I leave this body, I'm going to be with Him, no matter what. I mean, it doesn't really, I'm not somebody who's worried. I'm not an end time person. I'm not a person that, I'm not going to talk to you about what's going to happen when I leave here. All I know is that I'm going to be with Him. I'm from this point for eternity, I'm with the Lord. I'm with the Lord right now, and that's where I'll always be. There's no question in my mind about that anymore. I know that from right now until forever, I'm with the Lord, and so I don't have fear or worry about that anymore. I'm not concerned about that any longer, and I think that brings peace. I have peace. When I was a kid, I used to worry about those things. I used to be concerned about, okay, if I die tonight, where am I going? Because of a word that I was taught that, you best be perfect, and you best make sure that you say that prayer before you go to bed, because you sinned today, and you're going to go to hell for that. But that was the way I was brought up. And I'm thankful that I've been in church my entire life. I will never say anything different than that. I'm thankful that my parents had me in church, and that every time the church door was open, I was there. If I wasn't with my mom and daddy, I was with my granny. I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, I was there every time the door was open, and I'm very thankful for that. But I'm very thankful that I'm in a place, and I've heard a word that has put a peace in me that I no longer am concerned about that. Am I concerned about the way that I live and what I portray to people? Of course I am, because I want them to see God. So I want them to see the Christ in me. I don't want people to see things that aren't Christ, But I believe that that Christ is in me. Therefore, I'm with the Lord, and He's with me, and that's where I'll be forever. I'm not worried about that any longer. But I'm concerned about this life that I live right now. Because, there needs to be, and it's been in this church, in this house for so long, we've been talking about a manifestation of Christ in this life that we now live. And that's where, to me, that's where there needs to be a manifestation of Christ, is in this life we now live. Because the rest of it, we believe, is taken care of. How can I believe in something I cannot see, that I know that is taken care of? I believe my eternity is taken care of, but yet I worry about the things that I see right now. I worry about things that are happening in my life today, but yet I'm not concerned about forever. I want you to see what I want you to. We sometimes minimize our God. we minimize him. Where would you not think that forever, eternity, would be harder to have peace about than knowing that my life right now is taken care of? How we separate things so greatly from each other. How we separate them. Like, I can stand here and tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, I have no fear or worry about where my forever is. I don't go to, when I put my head on my pillow at night, I don't worry. I don't have fear or stress or anxiety about if I don't wake up, where will I be? But yet, when I worry and fear, it's about the things that are presently going on in my life. The things that are right in front of me. The things that are right there in front of my face. I'm getting ahead of myself. But what Angie needs to see, what Angie needs to understand is that just as much as my eternity is secure, just as much as that is taken care of, and I have no fear or worry about that, today is just as secure as that is. Right now is just as secure, is just as taken care of, is just as full of Christ, full of Him, as my eternity is. That I need to see and understand my life that way. That I need to see and understand who I am in Him and who I've been created to be, as well as I understand that my eternity is secure in Him and I don't have any fear or worry or fret about it. Let's go to Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, so here's what I want you to do. God helping you, I want you to take your everyday ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. I want you to take everything, all those things that you do every day, all those things that we worry and fret about, all those things that concern us, everything that you do, and I want you to give it to God. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing that you can do for Him. Do you know that God, all those things in my everyday ordinary life is what God's done for me? God's given me all those things. He's given me everything that I need to do everything I need to do to make it through my entire day. And what I need to understand is that He's given them to me and that He's taken care of it. And now I'm saying, okay, God, I understand that all this is already taken care of, just like my eternity. It's already all taken care of. So all I need to do is embrace you in those things. Embrace what God is doing for you as the best thing that you can do for Him. And don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit in without even thinking. Instead, fix your attentions on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what He wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. God's going to bring the best out in me. Me understanding the Christ that dwells on the inside of me is only going to bring the best out of me. There's this health program that we're on, it talks about being the best version of you. Be the best version of you. You know, I can be, there's a lot of versions of Angie, or there could be a lot of versions of Angie. But being the best version of me is being a version that has been matured by the Christ that dwells on the inside of me. That allows Him to form me and shape me, and not what's around me. Not this culture that's going to drag me down to its level, but that the Christ that dwells on the inside of me is maturing me and teaching me and showing me who I am and living in every part of my life, in every piece of my life, in everything that I do. When I'm sleeping, He's there. You know, when I'm cooking dinner, He's there. When I'm getting the kids ready for school and they're driving me crazy because they don't want to, this morning, nobody wanted to get up because everybody stayed up till, they're coming in, me and Dean are like asleep. And they're fussing about phones not charging. Dean's like, do you know what time it is? So nobody wanted to get up this morning. I said, I am not fussing this morning. We are not fighting this morning. We're getting up and we're going to church. And I'm like, you're not frustrating Mama this morning. That was the best version of Mommy this morning. That was a version of Mommy that says, we're not going to be frustrated this morning. We're going to allow, But, that's something, even that is allowing Christ to come out of me. Because you know what I want to do? Get up! Because but we need to see that God is in everything that we do. In every part of our day. In every part of who we are. That He's right there. And we can be that version, that person, or we can choose to be something else. But knowing that today, it says, I'm speaking to you out of a deep gratitude for all that God has given me, and especially as I have responsibilities in relationship to you. Living then, as every one of us does, in pure grace, is important that you don't misinterpret yourselves as people who are bringing this goodness to God. No, God brings it to all of you. The only accurate way to understand ourselves is by what God is and by what He does for us. So the way I need to understand myself is by who God is and what He's done for me. I'm understanding me through Him. I'm understanding who I am. I'm understanding this day that I've given Him. My everyday, ordinary walking around life, everything that I do day to day, moment to moment, I'm understanding it by who God is. I'm understanding that by who God is and what He's done for me. Not by who I am or what I can do for Him. But I first have to understand myself through Him. Because if I see myself through me, I'm going to see a lot of disappointment. If I see myself through what I have done or what I can accomplish, then there's going to be disappointment. And there's going to be discouragement. Because guess what? I am the worst critic of myself. I'm going to tell you, that really wasn't very good, Angie. I'm not, we tend to, if we really tried to look at ourselves through our own eyes, instead of through the eyes of God, you know what? I got to see myself first through His eyes so I can see you through His eyes. I got to learn to see me and see me through who God is and through what God's done for me so that I can see those that are around me through who God is and what God's done for them. See this life that I now live through His eyes. See, I'm seeing things through His perspective. I want to go to Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, so if you're serious about living this new resurrection life, this resurrection life with Christ, act like it. So am I serious about this life that I have to live? See, right now I'm in a place where I'm very serious about this life that I now live. Like I said, I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about what comes after this life because I know, I'm very, very confident in the fact that once this body no longer stands here, that I am forever with Him. So what I'm serious about right now is this life that I now live. What I'm serious about is what's going on in this life that I'm living right now. This life that we are living right now needs to be affected, needs to be changed, needs to have His resurrection life flowing through it. It says, pursue the things over which Christ presides. Let me go. Thank you. I want to go. King James Version says, If you then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, which Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affections on things above, not on things of this earth. So I'm setting my affections on Him. The scripture we just read said, don't let the things of this earth drag you down to their level. Be concerned about Christ. Be concerned about God. Be concerned about the things which He's over. Not about what not about what this world is telling you that you need to be concerned about. It says, pursue the things over which Christ presideth. It says, don't shuffle along, eyes to the ground, absorbed with the things right in front of you. Don't, see, we're like I said before, what we do is the big picture, my eternity, I'm not concerned about. It's out there, and I'm very secure in the fact of where my eternity lies. But what I tend to do is I tend to focus, and I'm looking here. I'm looking at the thing that is right in front of me, and I'm very focused. You know what? I don't see very much when my eyes are down here. There's very little that I can see. I can't see any of you out there. All I can see is this carpet and my toes. Okay? I have very, very limited vision when my eyes are focused on the ground. When I become focused on one little thing that's going on, then my focus becomes very small. And I can't see that I've given my life to Him. I can't see that, guess what? He's involved in every little thing that's happening in my life. He's right there involved in it just as much as He's involved in my eternity, just as much as He's secured that eternity. He's secured those things that I'm worried about right now. And if I can lift my eyes up and look and see, guess what? I can see things from His perspective. I can see things that, not just the things that are right in front of me, but I can look up and I can be alert to what is going around Christ. What is going on around Him. And that's where the action is. Seeing things from His perspective. So there's not a whole lot of action going on down here. There's a whole lot of action going on out there. All of you are out there. There's a whole lot of things going on out there that I can see and I can understand. You know what? If I'm seeing things from His perspective and not looking at myself through my own eyes, but looking at myself through His eyes and looking at things from His perspective, I can see a lot more. Because guess what? He's everywhere. And He's in everything. And I'm not focused on that thing that seems to consume all of my time and all of my energy, and that I'm focused strictly on it, and I can't do anything else because all of my energy is taken up with that's right there in front of me. But if I can see that He's already taken care of it all and see things from where He looks at things, guess what? He looks at things from that place where my eternity is secure. He looks at things from that perspective, from a perspective that He's already taken care of it all. From the very beginning, before the foundation of the earth, before I was ever even thought of, every single day of my life has been secured in Him. But I need to be able to see things from that perspective. I need to be able to lift up my head and see that He's already taken care of it. And this life that I now live is secure in Him just as much as I'm very confident that my eternity is secure in Him. Just as much as I know that I'm with Him for eternity, I'm with Him right now. He is with me right now, and He's never going to leave me or forsake me, and that this thing that is in front of me, whatever it may be, is already in His hands. It says, your old life is dead. Your new life, which is your real life, even though invisible to spectators. My new life in Him, my new life where I see and I understand that this life that I now live is not my own. It's Christ living in me, living through me, is my new real life. And it may be invisible to those around me, but it's not invisible to me. It's not invisible to me. You know why? Because the Christ on the inside of me is not invisible to me. I may not be able to see Him with my eyes, but I can hear Him and I can feel Him. I know that He's there. So it's not invisible. It's not intangible. Even though invisible to spectators is with Christ in God, He is your life. He is my life. He is the life that I now live. I've said for a long, long time, this is the way that I feel. Is how, if this life that I now live is Christ's life, it's not my own. It's not a life that I've made for myself. And if He's with me, and He lives in me, and He goes everywhere I go, and He does everything that I do, why would I not expect this life that I now live to be the very best life that I can live? Why would I not expect me to be the very best version of me? Why would I not expect everything that I do and I say and everywhere that I go, that it not be full of God's grace and God's mercy? Why would I not expect that what we read in Romans, it tells us that living then as every one of you does in pure grace, that I live my life in pure grace, that everything about this life that I now live is pure grace. Pure grace, that there's nothing else in me but the grace of God. There's nothing else that I live out of but the grace of God. And that if I could not see, to me it's more than my brain can comprehend. It's more than what I could understand. But how could we not feel and not understand and not know that if I really truly understood that this life that I now live is the life that Christ lives in me, that it would not be, that I would not expect it to be the very best life I could possibly live. The very best life I could possibly live. Why would I not expect that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is not living a life through me that is a life worthy of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? Why would I not expect it to be a life that is not worthy of Him? Why would I expect it to be any less? He is your life. And then when Christ, your real life, remember, shows up again on this earth. When did He show up again on this earth? He showed up again on this earth right here. He's already showed up again. He's not showing up again anymore. He showed up again in me. This is where Christ is. That is in you is where Christ is. That is where He showed up again on this earth, is in us. And that the real you, the glorious you, is right here. The real me, the glorious me, is right here. I don't have to wait for the real me, the glorious me, someday when I'm off, when this life is over with. If my life, my real life is now, then why would I expect anything less than the real me, the glorious me, to be standing right here in front of you? Now, we don't have to wait for that. Because I'm very, very confident that I am now and forever will be with Him. That I don't have to worry about what happens to me when this life is now over. But what needs to change is that I know that I don't have to worry about this life that I now live. That I don't have to be concerned about the details of this life that I now live, because He's already worked out the details of this life that I now live. That He's very concerned about my everyday. If He wants my everyday walking around life for me to give it to Him, then He's very concerned about that. And He's very present in that. And that He's very real in that everyday walking around life that I now live. And that His desire is for me to know and to understand who the real me, the glorious me is. That He's very concerned that I understand who He's created me to be. And that I am who I am because of who He is and because of what He's done. And that there's a life for me to live where I'm not looking down at this ground, looking down at my feet with no perspective and no vision and no understanding of who He's created me to be, but that He wants me to see things from His perspective. He wants me to lift my head. He wants me to lift my head and look up and see the life that He's given me to live is pure grace. It's pure grace. And is a life that is the real me, the glorious me, the real you, the glorious you. Living a life that is full of pure grace and that is full of a God who's given you more than enough and has made you more than able and made you more than a conqueror. And the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords lives life through you. He lives His life through you. He showed up again on this earth in me and in you so that we could be the people that He created us to be and live a life that He created us to live. Not just to be very certain and secure about our eternity and where it may be, but be very secure and very certain about a life that He's given us to live. And that, you know what? Every day is not going to be perfect. But every day is perfect in Him. Every day is perfect in Him. You know what? No matter if I see and I understand, and I can lift my head and see things from His perspective, and that I'm not drowned, that I'm not consumed by this world and by the things that are happening in this world, and I'm not allowing them to transform me or conform me to their way of seeing things, but I'm allowing the Christ in me to lift my head and open my eyes to see things from His perspective, then I can see on the other side of that. I can see on the other side of that. And I can see that, guess what? He's already put me on the other side of that. He's already brought me through this to the other side to be the person that He created me to be, to live the life that He created me to live. And that is who He created us to be. We are those people. We are that glorious, I am that glorious real me. You are that glorious real you, not now. I mean, not someday later, but right now. I don't have to wait till another day. I don't have to wait till this spirit is out of this body. But the real me, the glorious me, is here in this body to be the Christ in this earth. To be Christ in this earth. People need to see Christ. People need to see Him. People need to see the real me, the glorious me, which is the Christ on the inside of me, and me understanding and knowing that's who He created me to be. And that I can now live a life that is very secure and very certain that I am who Christ created me to be. I am that person. I am that glorious me. And I can live a life that is from a perspective of Christ, not from a perspective of this world, not from Angie's perspective, but a perspective of God, the perspective that He desires me to see things from, the person that He desires me to be, the life that He desires for me to live, and that it's about Him. And the desires that He put on the inside of me are the desires that He wants me to have. Those are the things that He desires for me to be. That's the life that He desires for me to live. He didn't put them on the inside of me for me not to obtain them, not to live them out, not to be that person. He put them there to show me who He created me to be. Yep. To show me who He created me to be. And this is the life that I desire for you to live, a life that is full of me, that is pure grace. Pure, I don't even know that I can comprehend pure grace. But it's greater than you can imagine. It's greater than what you can comprehend. It's bigger. It's more. There's so much right now on the inside of me that I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to get it out. I don't even know how to put it into words. But there's so much more. There's so much more. than us being concerned or being worried or fretting over the things that are right in front of us. They're already taken care of. They're already in His hands. They're already provided for. He's already made the way. It's already there. All we have to do is change our perspective. Change our perspective and understand that I'm not seeing this life, and I'm not seeing myself, and I'm not seeing you through Angie, but I'm seeing all those things through the Christ that dwells on the inside of me. That all these things that are around me, that I need to change my perspective. I need to change the way that I view everything. The people around me, the things around me, all of those things need to change. My view, my perspective on that needs to change. To look at it through Christ Jesus. To look at those things through pure grace. So that I can see and understand this life that I now live is very much a life full of Christ and full of Him, full of grace and mercy and love and peace and joy, full of the things of Christ, full of the things over which He presides. Your life is full of Him. Your day is full of Him. Your everyday walking around life is full of Christ Jesus. Thank you.